Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, you're welcome. So I have been seeing this skirt all over the internet, like it is literally in my face every single day, and the design is so wonderful, it's so beautiful. The design was made by a Nigerian designer. Her name is Tolu Bali. I'm not very sure of that name, but I'm going to put it on the screen here for you to see. And she made them with like contemporary prints, not contemporary prints, indigenous prints, the adire prints, like a combination. They have the long version, they have the short version, and it's just so lovely. And I thought to myself, like the good girl that I am, let me try and recreate this look in the sew along tutorial. So in today's video, I'm just going to show you how I made my own version of this skirt with a little twist, okay? Because I'm not going to be showing you my ties, so if you want to know how I made this skirt, definitely keep watching. If you're not subscribed to the family, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that whenever I post a video, you'll be the very first person to get notified. Without further ado and hair shaking, you guys can see I made my hair for the first time in how many years. Let's just jump into the tutorial. Let's go, let us go. So to start, I've already cut out my desired length. This fabric is already on a fold of 2. So from the side, I measured 1.5 inch for my zip allowance. I'm just going to mark that out quickly, and I'm going to fold it and secure with a pin. I drew a straight line first of all, so that you know every measurement along the whole fabric will be even. So after that, I folded and secured with a pin. When I was done folding the zip allowance, I folded the fabric into 2 again, making it a fold of 4. Then I flipped it the other way around because somehow I like my zip allowance to be that way. So from the center, I marked my waist. Normally my waist is 28, but here I marked about 9.5 inches. That's plus sewing allowance and other joining allowance. Then I went down by 8 inches. From the center, I extended my tape and I marked 12 inches. My hips is 40, so instead of marking just 10, I added 2 extra inches for sewing allowance and seam allowance. When I was done at the hem, I also marked the measurement I took for my hips. So when I was done marking, I just connected my markings with a couple of lines. You guys can see that the line is not straight. When I was done connecting my markings with the straight lines, not straight lines, with a couple of lines, I don't know what I'm saying, I just went ahead to cut out my working piece. So after cutting it out, this is what we have: the front part and the back part. That's the zip allowance for the back part. I wanted to show you guys so you won't get confused, and I'm just going to fold them and keep them aside. First of all, after folding it, I'm going to spread out the front part because we are going to do some measurements here. So from the center, I'm going to mark 4.5 inches, which is like around the place where our dart sits. And I'm going to do that across the entire length of the front part, okay? Then from the top, I just went down by 10 inches. That is where I want my slits to start from. So I went down by 10 inches. At the bottom, I marked 1.5 inch on both sides. And when I was done marking the 1.5 inch on both sides at the hem, I just connected it to that 10-inch point. That part where I wanted the slits to start from. I don't know, I'm missing my lines in this voiceover. Okay. So after connecting my lines, I'm just going to use my scissors of course the scissors I'm using, and I'm just going to cut out that sort of triangular shape that we have there. I'm going to cut it out because this is like that slit that we see in front of the skirt. So it's not just like a straight opening, no, they actually cut out something so that it will be a little broad and it can show, you know, some leg. You know, those people that want to save legs, this is what they do that makes, you know, the slit a little wide. After I was done cutting the sleeves for the front part, I'm going to go ahead to cut my band. So the width of this band is 2.5 inches. So I just folded my fabric into two and I marked out 2.5 inches. I'm going to cut about 4 pieces because I need 2 for front, 2 for back, and I also need some for facing. Okay, so I just cut out the band. You can see it's on a fold of 2. When I was done cutting, I went ahead to slit the sides to give me 4 bands. So we are done cutting the skirt. This is the front part, and this is how I'm going to lay my lining to top stitch my fabric on the lining. Now over to sewing. I'm done top stitching the lining to the fabric. I'll be fabric to lining anyone, and we're just going to start with the back part. So for the back, I'm going to place them each other like so, and I'm going to join the zip allowance. Okay, I'm going to place them on each other and I'm going to join them at the zip allowance. So I quickly took it over to my sewing machine and I joined it along the zip allowance. Guys, somehow you notice that this voiceover might be coming a little faster or a little slower to the action. I got a new device and I don't even understand what it's doing with my video editor. Just bear with me if you notice any discrepancies. Okay, so after joining, I went ahead to mark my dart. Now I'm going to pick my dart. I took it back to my sewing machine and I picked the dart for both sides. So after sewing the dart, this is what it looks like. When it comes to making skirts, one thing that turns me on, they are the darts. Like whenever I pick the dart, I just feel like a hero. So after picking the dart, you guys have seen what it looks like. I'm just going to attach the band to the skirt. So I'll open up the zip allowance and I'm going to sew the band to the skirt, and I'm also going to join the zip. Okay, I'm going to join the band along that side. You can see I've already opened up my zip allowance and I'm joining the band on both sides of the skirt. After this, I'm going to go ahead to join my zip. So if you don't know to attach my zip, if you don't know how to attach a zip, I have a detailed tutorial here on this channel how to attach a basic zip and invisible zip. Check it out. Okay guys, you can see I am done attaching the zip and the band. This is what we have here. We're a little done with the back part and we're going to move over to the front part. Okay, so this is the front part, guys. This is the front part of the skirt, and you can see that we have 2 pieces for the front because of the slit. So I'm just going to lay it on each other like so, and I'm going to join on about 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Okay, along the side, 1/2 inch sewing allowance. So on my sewing machine, I'm joining on 1/2 inch sewing allowance. I kind of enjoyed making the front part. I really enjoyed making the whole skirt because I did not experience any difficulty. Okay, so when I was done sewing, I gave it a really good press and I overlocked the seam of the slit. So this is what the front part looks like. This is what we have here. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the band to the skirt. Okay, I'm just going to attach it like so. So I took it over to my sewing machine again and I attached the band to the front part of the skirt. Somehow guys, when you see this skirt you think it's complicated, but in reality it is not. It is not. So after joining the band, I gave it a really good press. This is what we have here. Now we are going to go over to the slit point where the slit is going to start from. And if you're making this skirt, you notice there is a little curvy because of that part, that triangular thing I took out. So I just went ahead to mark that point where I told you initially I wanted the slits to start from, And so from there, from the hem, I'm just going to open it up back to that point that I marked, and I'm just going to take it back to my sewing machine and do a back stitch there so that it won't loosen. You understand? And like I said in the beginning of the video, I told you guys that I didn't really want my leg to be open, you understand? So I kind of attached an organza to that part, not the whole slit, just a little. You know, when I was done sewing, it was still transparent. I was telling myself I would have attached a thicker fabric. So learn from my mistake. For you, attach a thicker fabric. Before I bite my tongue, attach a thicker fabric. So I just cut something triangular. See guys, don't come and ask me, oh, how did you do it? I just folded it, cut it a little triangular. I got the length I wanted, and I'm securing it to the skirt now. So you're not come and asking for measurement. You know, I told you guys that sewing is like photocopy. The way you see it, you just do it like that. Now I attached the organza. This is what it looks like. You can see I secured with some pins, and I just took it over to my sewing machine and I ran stitches to secure the organza to the skirt. If you want your own to be open, you don't care if people are seeing your legs, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to attach the organza. You can see the picture I showed you in the beginning. There was no organza attached. Okay, when attaching the organza, you want to be very, very careful, and you want to sew with caution, especially when you get towards that narrow part, because if you don't sew it well, the thing will start jumping, will be looking funny. So just make sure you take your time. So when I was done joining this is what the skirt looks like after I was done joining the organza and giving it a good press. The seam allowance, okay, just make sure you use your sealer gum to seal it down so that it won't move around. Okay, so this is the back part. What I want to do now is I want to join the back part of the skirt to the front part of the skirt. Basically, I want to sew the sides of the skirt so that the skirt was well layered on each other, and I marked my waist, my hips, and my hem, and I just took it back to my sewing machine and I joined both sides of the skirt. Now this skirt is not a pencil skirt, so for example, if I took 10 inches, which is like 40 by the time you open up the skirt, for the hips, I also took 40 for the hem, because we already have a slit in front and there's no need for pencil. That's how I did mine. So after joining both sides of the skirt and giving it a good press, I'm going to attach the band to the skirt. That's the facing of the band, to turn over the band. You guys know that the band was on a raw edge, so I'm just going to turn over the waistband with the facing. So I took it back to my sewing machine. I attached the facing of the waistband to the skirt, and I just took my time to sew. See guys, I will keep apologizing in this video because this thing wants to frustrate my enemies, not me. If my voice is coming before the action or after the action, just look at what I'm doing. And if you're enjoying this video, please give this video a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Okay, now after joining the band to the skirt, I went over to flip over the band and give it a top stitch so that it will be well relaxed, it won't be puffy and all those stuff. So this is what the skirt looks like. This is what the skirt looks like after I have attached the band. You can see that, you know, a little gaudet that I attached there. This is the band. You can see how sleek. I gave it a good press, guys, but you can see how sleek it is because I gave it a good press and I top stitch. This is what the back looks like. Just look at the skirt, it's coming together already. Now for the bow tie, I just eyeballed my measurements. Sincerely, I can't tell you guys that I know what I cut here. I just looked at it, I'm like, okay, I want my bow tie to be a little big. This is how I came about what I did here, but you can measure yours out depending on how large you want your bow tie to be. So you're just going to fold the fabric into two. Make sure you've put some forcible interface like a gum stay, and you're going to join the center first before you join the top. Okay, you're going to join the sides first before you join the top. So when you are sewing the side, make sure you leave like 1 inch opening before you go ahead to sew the top and the bottom. Okay, which is what I did here. You can see I did a back stitch, then I left like 1 inch opening, then I went ahead to sew till I got to the hem of the fabric. And after that, I'm going to now, you can see the 1 inch opening. After that, I'm going to now fold it into two like this, and I'm going to sew the top and the bottom. Okay, So I'm sealing the top right now, and I'm also going to go ahead to seal the bottom. You guys can see I'm showing you every detail before you come and attack me in the comment section. So after joining it, this is what we have here. You can see the importance of that 1-inch opening. Now I'm just going to try and wiggle out all this fabric from that little opening. It was a real struggle, guys. Like, I was really struggling with this thing. If not that I have experience and I know that okay, it will definitely come out, I'm sure you guys will be like, oh, how will it come out, my dear? To come out, just take your time and be patient. So I just kept pulling the fabric out and pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling. I'm sure you guys are tired of this voiceover. Okay, till everything came out. Then I think I did that off camera, but I used my scissors to push out the edge to make sure that it's a little pointed, like not even a little pointed, it's very, very pointed. And after that, you notice that the fabric is wrinkled, is squeezed, so you need to give it a really good press. You can see it's wrinkled. Look at that opening. Then I gave it a really good press, and you can see how slick it is. So after that, I'm just going to fold it into two to get the center. That is where I'll pick the joining for the bow tie. I will just squeeze it around before I bite my tongue. I'm going to squeeze it around. My tongue was twisting. I'm going to squeeze it around that point to form the bow tie. Some people call it tuxedo, don't know what it's called, but bow tie. Then I have like a band. This is like 1/2 inch band that I'm going to use to hold the bow in place. So you're going to do a little needle work here. You're going to get your needle and your thread, and you're just going to nicely and tightly sew that point, okay? Which is what I did here. I think I did that off camera. I don't think I showed you guys, but you guys can see what should be done there. So after sewing, I've already gone ahead to cut the excess band I didn't need. That is my thread. I didn't cut out the thread because I still need the thread to attach it to the skirt. So to attach it to the skirt, you're just going to place it a little, like 1 inch or 1/2 inch away from the opening point, and you're going to use that needle and thread you didn't cut out from the bow tie to attach it to the skirt. Okay, so you're just going to do a little needle work. You're going to try and join it in a 4-corner, in a square motion. Is it square motion or square format? Just make sure you tightly attach the bow tie to the skirt, because if it's not well attached to the skirt, if it's not well sewn to the skirt, it's not going to look good. So after attaching, you can see that it is firm. Like needlework, man, needlework is guys, it is firm. I'm going to quickly show you the back. I attached those points, those 4 points of the bow tie to the skirt. Look at, I have sort of like a square format here. Okay, so this is how you should sew the bow tie to the skirt. So this is what the front part looks like. Now for the bow tie, something you would notice from the picture is the bow tie is a little curvy, like it kind of curved into, I don't know how to explain, it kind of curved into the slit. So you're just going to push that end part of the bow tie to the slit, and you're going to top stitch it. Okay, you're going to come over to this side, and you're going to top stitch it as well. So before I take over to my sewing machine, I just secured it with some office paint, and I top stitched both sides. You want to do this slowly and neatly, because this is the front part of the skirt and all eyes are on the slit, because you are showing them your legs. That is what they want to see. So just make sure you do it slowly and make sure it is neat, make sure it is fine. So after top stitching, this is what we have here, guys. This is what the skirt looks like. I was just feeling myself. You guys can see that my leg was still showing. So later on, I'm just going to take out that organza and replace it with a very thicker fabric. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 50K this year, so be part of my dream, be part of the family. Thanks for watching. Make sure you make this skirt. Tag me on Instagram, tag me on Facebook, and I'll see you in my next. Thanks for watching. Bye.